guys, welcome back to Bait and Tackle, and today I have a very, very special episode. We are going to talk about how I had a custom mold made by a company called CNC Molds and Stuff. Okay, the gentleman's name is Bob. He is a great guy. I've had the pleasure of working with him over the last couple months. It took a little while. He's got quite a bit of backlog. He's got a lot of work he's got going on. But I had him design me an underspin mold because I love the do it underspins, and to be honest, I wanted my own, and I wanted my own flavor a little bit. So I've seen some underspins in the store, I've seen some underspins online, and I really like the idea of how the angle of the wire goes backwards. So with a do it one, it goes straight down, and it's just a little tiny wire harness or wire form that goes down from the body, from the head. And what I wanted was something that leaned back. So this, guys, is the new B8N Tackle Custom Underspin. This is my own design. We had to make a couple little changes because it wasn't going to work the way we wanted to, but this is what we ended up with, and I got to be honest, it's perfect. It's great. The wire forms, I have to make these myself because I didn't have them mass produced. But now that I know what I need, I probably could go somewhere and get them mass produced, so it's not going to be a problem. But fantastic that it has the screw lock on it for the bait keeper, and you got your underspin coming down here at an angle with the blade going out back. It doesn't impede with the bait, and it's perfect. So if you hit stuff, it'll bounce right off. That's the best part about it. That's what I wanted. With the do it, it's straight up and down, so it had a tendency to snag, and when it hits, it knocks, and then eventually it falls out. So I wanted to keep a bait from doing that. Plus, I wanted a little bit bigger of an eye, and I got it so that I could do 3 1/8 ounce and 3 3/8 ounce, which is what I primarily make and I primarily throw. So that's what I wanted to do, and that's what Bob made me, and that's what we came up with. These use a Gamakatsu hook, which is my favorite. Barlow's Tackle, where I get most of my supplies. Awesome. Here's your 5/0 Gamakatsu. This is the 604. This is what goes into the 3/8 cavities. And then I got a Gamakatsu 1/0 to go for the 1/8 ounce. So let's get you over here to the bench, and I want to show you guys how we do this. I'm actually going to make up some of the little wire forms that we have to make to actually go into the mold, and I want to show you how this goes together, and it's pretty slick. And I got to be honest, if you're going to get a mold made, this guy right here is the guy you want to get it made through. Okay, so let's start with this angle first. I want to show you what we're going to do. I've got some lead heating up. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to pour a couple. I'm going to pour a whole mold, and then I'm going to show you. I've already got some pre-made. I've got some that are made up without paint already. And then what I'm going to do is show you a couple of the ones that I've already got painted up, which I have here, but I just haven't put the spinners on. And I've got some bigger ones over here that I will show you. So let's go through this real quick. So I have to make a little wire harness, or a little, yeah, I guess you can call it a wire harness, a little wire form that looks like that. So not too bad, because what I was able to do was I was able to buy these wire forms on Barlow's, and what this is a 0.040 diameter wire, and this is a 100 pack, and I bought like 500 or 1,000, I think, off the get-go. And what these are is they've got a hook on the end of them, so they're pretty much more or less ready to go. Now, I'm not going to waste any of this wire. I just wanted to start with something, and that would give me something that I need, and it's going to work out perfectly, because what I end up doing is, and see the end's got the hook on it right there. I just wanted to show you guys what that looked like. So the hook end, and let me get you down here closer a little bit so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So that's probably about as close as I can get you. So what I want to show you is, and I'm not sure how the lighting is on this or not, but let me just do this. Let me flip the camera. This will be easier with my hands. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about with the hook. So this is the cavity for the actual wire form. So if I do that and it lays in there like that, it's perfect. All I got to do is cut it and bend it to fit into that cavity. That's all I got to do. So what I came up with, and I'm going to show you, is one of these wire forms. I'm going to put it in the mold just to show you what it looks like. So that's what I got. So it fits in there perfect. Fits in the cavity. It will mold in there perfectly. And then you put everything else in there. So let's just go ahead and I'll show you real quick what we got. And I kind of need my hands for this. Well, no, I don't. So what you got to do is you got to feed the hook through the screw lock. Okay. And then I'll show you how this lays in there. Then the hook itself has a cavity for the eye. And then the screw lock fits down just like that, but it's got to roll over. Let me kind of, I'm going to try to do this while I got you here, but I'm trying not to. It's kind of stuck there. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Okay. So screw lock's in place and the wire form is in place. This is what it looks like before we pour the head. So you're going to have your screw lock there. You're going to have your eyelet there. The blood's going to form around all that wire right there and hold everything in place. And then that right there is going to be what holds on to your little barrel swivel with the snap rings. And that's going to hold your blade in place. So that's what we got to do. So I'm going to put you back up on the stand here. I've got to make 4 more of those wire forms. I get you swap back. I've got to make 4 more of those wire forms, and I'm just going to show you how I do that. Now, what you got to do is get yourself, and this is my mold obviously, but I want to just show you guys what I do, what tools I use to make this happen. I have a wire bending pair of pliers. I don't know where these came from. They say Beadsmith on them. I'm assuming I got them off Amazon, but it's got a very tiny like cone nozzle where you can make it as big as you want and as small as you want. And then it's actually got a U-channel on the other side to bend the wire in. So theoretically, I could make that bend right there on the end of that wire, just like that. So this one's already got the bend on it. I want to just show you real quick. I'm just going to put it in the mold. I'm going to grab it to where I think it needs to be bent. And the bigger ones are a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the wire right there. I'm going to make a bend. I'm going to go ahead and bend it down the way I need it to. So it's like this. Okay. See that? Then we're going to cut it with a little bit extra. And the bigger cavities, they can have a little bit extra on them. The smaller cavities have to be a little bit smaller. So that's the one for the bigger cavity. So if I put that in there, fits perfect. It's not going to impede with the hook or anything like that. It's out of the way. So I need to make a bunch more of those. So I need to make 3 more of those. So you take these pliers. Here's just a straight piece of wire. Mostly to the tip. Not all the way to the tip, but back a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is just squeeze. And I'm going to bend that wire and make my own hook, just like the wire, how it came. And it does it almost perfect. It bends a little bit twisting sideways, but we're not far off. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to stick it in the mold, measure it to where I think it needs to be to bend. Take my little needle nose pliers here, and these are some snap ring pliers. And then just bend it the way you need it bent. and then just cut off the excess. And there's another one right there. So there's two. So I need to make one more for the big ones, and then I'm going to have to make one more for the small ones. And I'm going to show you the small ones, because those are a little bit different, because they're a little bit just a little bit shorter on the end that goes in the cavity. So again, put it in there, figure out where I need to go, bend it where I need it, cut the excess off. That one's ready to go. So it's not too bad. I can probably sit here and make up a whole bunch of those, and I'm probably going to make some extra ones just so that I have them for the future. And like I said, I might get somebody to make me these at some point, but I'm going to take one of these out just so I can bend it where I need it, and then that way I've got one extra made off to the side. So I'm not sure if anybody knows anybody that does any pre-made wire forms. If somebody knows somebody that can do something like this, like mass produced, I would be very, 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 very thankful. So we've got two of the small ones made up. I'm going to go ahead and make the last one, and then we're going to make one extra. But you can see how much wire we're actually not wasting by using the entire length of that piece. So pretty cool. So here we go. Put this in there. Make sure I get my bend. The smaller ones are a little bit more tricky. They're a little shorter. They got to be a little shorter just because of the space in the cavity. So I'm just going to double check that it fits good. Yep, it does. So I can go ahead and cut off the excess, but when you cut off the excess on these, you got to bring it way up to the tip. So it's a very, very short piece of wire in there. Otherwise, it's going to impede with the back of the cavity. So that's all that's left out of that one piece. So I just got 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 out of one big piece of wire. That's all that's left. That's what's wasted. So very minimal waste. I'm trying to do that on purpose as of right now, until I can find somebody to actually make me the wire forms, which would save me a lot of time. So again, I'm going to make one more extra just for the short one. Hope we already got our bend. Just because I want to have a couple extras just laying here on the bench just for size comparison, so I know where everything is. Okay, so that's perfect. This one's got to be cut short because it's for a small one. And there we go. So, small one, big one. I know I'm going to go ahead, now that I have all those in place, I am going to go ahead and get a bunch of hooks out. And I need a whole bunch. I need 3 big ones, 3 5/0 Gamakatsus, and I need the screw locks. So I need three screw locks for each side. So we need 6 total. And I'm trying not to mess up all my wire forms that are already in the mold, but I'm sure that's inevitable, that I'm going to be moving them anyway. I mean, it just happens. So I had some older screw locks, which kind of change the design just a little bit. But thankfully, Bob must have used the new ones, because they fit perfect. And I ordered a whole bunch of the new ones anyway, because I knew I was going to be making a bunch of these. So I went ahead and ordered all those. I've got, I think, like 500 or something like that. 500 or 1,000, I can't remember. So that worked out great. So let's go ahead and put some screw locks on these, get them in the mold. I'll do the small ones first. I think the most time-consuming part of this process, I think, is just going to be making the wire forms, really. That's going to be the toughest part of the whole thing. Putting everything into the mold is not too bad. It's a little bit time-consuming, but you also got to remember that I'm getting 3 of the same size every time I shoot this mold. And I may go back to Bob and have him make me another one so I can do more than one at a time. And that I may actually want to do some different sizes too, because I was thinking about maybe doing even smaller ones that fit really good with like a 1.7-inch Prey Bait by Epic Bait Molds. That's a great little plastic. And then they've got a backup, core shot backup that would work really well too. So let's get all these in place. And then I'm going to show you the next best thing about this mold. So get this last screw lock in place. Yep. And you just got to push them up, make sure that they're in the cavity, make sure that all your stuff is lined up, everything's in where it needs to be. Everything has its own little wire way. Good. Then we can very slowly close it. Make sure that, yep, and then and if it goes down flush like that, you've got no problems, nothing's hitting it, you're all good. This is the best part of this mold. Comes with a little screw, an Allen screw, that you can lock down the mold. Then that way it doesn't come apart on you. There's a lot of little tiny pieces in there, and there you go. It's ready to shoot. So let me get you guys set up here to where you can see me pour some lead. All right, so I've got you in the right position here. Let's just make sure our lead's hot, which it is. Always, and it's going to start leaking. This is the first time I tried to use it. So I'm just going to turn that, slow that down a little bit. Okay, so we know lead comes out of there. We know it's good. So I'm just going to get the little bit of excess off, and then we're going to go ahead and shoot this thing. Now I like to put the nozzle down inside. These are the big cavities first. Now last time I did this mold, I warmed it up first on top of the lead, but this time I'm not going to do that. And this mold is so long. I love it, how long it is. But that's it. So we got that done. We pull you back over to the bench. Put my cup back. All right, so we're back on the bench. And what I'm going to do here, one of the handles keep coming loose. I got to tighten them up. What we're going to do here is undo our Allen screw. Get that out of there. Put that off to the side. And he sends 2 Allen screws with it just in case you lose one, which is fantastic. I'm going to open this up. And I was going to say they're probably not all going to stay on the same side, because they never do. And it looks like everything poured great. I don't see any issues. Here it is with the sprue on it. Here's the 1/8 with the sprue on it. Fantastic. Okay. Then let me get out one of the 3/8. You can see that. Awesome little bait. Love it. So getting the sprues off is very simple. Let me get all these out of the mold here. Got to be very careful because these hooks are very sharp. Love Gamakatsu, but they are sharp. So we're going to go ahead and put this mold off to the side here for a second. So this is what we got. I'm going to show you what we do here. is we just take a pair of flush cutters, and all we do is come up underneath that, right on that front part of the sprue, trim it right off. There you go. All done. So that's the big one. Do the small one. Same thing. And then what I like to do is just take a little file, a triangle file that I like to use a lot, and just a little bit rub the tip on it, the tip of the bait, just to get that little bit where that sprue was. That's it. That's all you got to do. It is fantastic. So I'm just going to do the big one real quick just to say I did one. Okay. So I've got a pile of those right here, and like I said, just to save some time on the video, because I know we're probably already getting a little bit lengthy, I went ahead and already painted up some. I took the time and got out my fluid bed and made a bunch of nice ones, different colors, and they're actually some that I'm sending to a friend of mine. He's going to test them for me and possibly make another video on doing some color matches with it. So I ended up making 4 of the big ones and 4 of the small ones for him. And then I made some extras for some other people. But here is the 3/8 ounce and like a fire tiger. So what I did was I did fire craw for the red base, and then I put some yellow orange on the tip and the belly a little bit to fade in, and then matched it up with some black eyes. That came out really cool. The next one I did was melon copper color with a little bit of new penny on the bottom. See that gold? Really cool. And then matched it up with some black gold eyes. But really neat. Really, really neat. Then I did just a classic pearl white, but instead of using chartreuse, I did chartreuse pepper on the bottom, so you can see the black and everything. So that came out really cool. And then I matched it up with some chartreuse eyes. And the last one I did was a purple, and it's like a, I think it's called bruised gill, and it's like a purple with green, blue, red flake. It's got a whole bunch of different flake in it. And then I matched it up with some actual purple. I think it's actually purple. Yeah, it's called purple, even though it looks kind of pink to me. And then I did that on the belly and the tip. So that came out pretty cool too. And then I just gave that some natural eyes. So 4 colors. And then I did a whole mess of small ones that I still got to put blades on. But these are really cool. I've already fished with them a little bit. I've caught a couple small fish on them. They seem to perform really well. But I'm very impressed on how well CNC Molds, Bob, did a great job at making this custom mold. It takes a little while. Like I said, he's busy, and we all are. I get that. So be patient with him if you do decide to get a mold through him. But knock your socks off. I mean, fantastic molds. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that. I know I really enjoy this mold. CNC Molds and Stuff, Bob. Go give him a shout out. Follow him. I think he's got an Instagram account as well. Go check him out. Amazing, amazing work. I'm super, super thrilled about my new underspins. These came out so awesome. I love them. 3/8 and 1/8. I can make 3 at a time. It's just fantastic. Before with the do-its, I could only make 1 of each size at 1 at a time. So it was very, very time consuming. So I'm really enjoying this. I may reach out to him and have him do me another one. And then I may do some other sizes as well if this turns out as good as it did. Going smaller is going to be a challenge because I'm going to have to downsize on the wire form. I would like to go a little smaller, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not. So we'll see. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. And as always, remember to keep on baiting.